Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Radiant Central, and I'm your host, Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So I did a video a little while ago, not too long ago, offering a tip on how to lose weight while you're sleeping. And pretty much the tip was to eat your last meal of the day as early as possible and go to sleep early. The two go hand in hand. And since doing that video, I received a few comments and questions about what to do if you work overnight. What if you've got the night shift and you're up all night, sleeping all day? Great question. I have to say I myself have been through this. When I was a university student, I worked as a bartender. I would either be getting off work at 3 in the morning or even 5 in the morning. And I did this for about 4 years. So I know what it's like. I know how there's also times where you don't have an option. That's your job. That's how you make a living. And as much as I can say it's much healthier to be sleeping all night and working during the daylight hours, it's not always an option for everyone. So I do understand that, and that's how it goes. I would first say to anyone is make the goal to eventually change your time schedule, to change when you're working, to try and get a day job as opposed to a night job. But in the meantime, what would you do? Well, I'll give some tips on this one. The first thing is that I do find that people that work a night shift have the extra challenge, especially if they're already gaining weight while they've been working on their night shift, is that a lot of times people snack more to keep themselves awake. So it is important, first of all, to make sure that you are getting rested during the day, that you are getting adequate enough sleep, because a lot of times when people work the night shift, sometimes the amount of sleep that they get during the day is much less than what they really need. Okay, so do make sure you're really blocking out time to be getting that good 7 hours of sleep, or 8 or 9, a little more, a little less, depending on each person, but really make sure that you're getting adequate rest. The next thing is that with the tip that I gave about having your last meal of the day at least 2 to 3 hours before you're going to sleep. Optimally, it would be, I would say, even 3 to 4 hours before going to sleep, but 2 to 3 hours is a good amount of time at least. The same thing applies to if you're working overnight. Okay, it's just that you're not having your last meal at 6 at night. You might actually be having your last meal at 6 in the morning, depending what time you're getting off work and going to sleep. I think the issue people run into is that they're not making the right calculations. A lot of times people are thinking about when they're ending their shift, and they forget about the amount of time it takes to get from work home, and the amount of time it takes from arriving at home to actually going to sleep. I know for myself, when I worked a night shift, even if I got off at 5 in the morning, I wasn't going to sleep till like at least 7 or even later, because a lot of times I needed like an hour just to unwind after work. Like when I got off work, my mind was going miles an hour. So I needed time to actually unwind and do some things, and then I would go to sleep. So you have to, I would say, is figure out how long it's taking you to get home from work and how long it's taking you to actually go to sleep. And once you kind of know that amount of time, then you can calculate, okay, when should you have your last meal of the day or of the evening? You know, that it should be about 3 hours before going to sleep. And it's not 3 hours before you finish work, but it's 3 hours before you go to sleep, at least. Okay, so then you're able to figure that out. And then on top of that, what I would suggest too is doing an experiment over the next week where that last meal you're having is a smaller meal, and see how that goes. See if you have a really small meal, by the time you go to sleep, are you able to go to sleep, or are you hungry? Is that hunger keeping you awake? Because then you'll be able to gauge it to know, okay, do I need like a full big meal those 3 to 4 hours before I go to sleep, or can I get away with having just a snack and feeling fine, feeling like I have enough energy, and feeling like I'm able to ease into sleep properly? Then you'll be able to know. A lot of times I find people want to do everything perfectly, like right now, and they want to set a plan right now. And sometimes it's about doing a few experiments and making a few adjustments and observing yourself and sort of tuning into what's working and what's not for a few days, a week, maybe even 2 weeks of trying different things out to see what's working. Okay, but these are definitely my suggestions. And I would also say too is try your best, if you're working overnight, not to snack. You're better off having real meals and not like a meal and then like an hour later like nibbling on something and then having another meal. Like really to be just when you're sitting down to eat, you're sitting down to eat. You're not eating anything in between sitting down to eat. And the same thing would go to really sit down and eat, not to be eating while you're doing things, okay? Because that too can help as well. All right, so those are my tips for those that are working overnight. And I just want to mention too, if anyone wants to do a raw food cleanse, the next 7-day raw food challenge, it starts this coming Monday, March 16th. It's 7 days of doing a raw food diet. It's a great way of pressing the reset button and getting on to eating healthy foods again. And it's a great way of doing an actual cleanse without having to do fasting. You can actually eat food and learn how to make delicious food. When you sign up, you get all the recipes and how to plan out your meals for the week. And there's a forum, and there's also daily videos that go with the program to walk you through everything you need to know about the raw food diet and how to do it properly and how to keep motivated and to enjoy it as well. So it's a great program. If you want more information on it, you can go to my website at radiantcentral.com, click on products, and you'll see the 7-day raw food challenge there. It starts this coming Monday, March 16th. Have a super fabulous day, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.